It is an end of an era. Some ways in which you've been thinking, some mindsets, some belief systems are going to be challenged and going to be torn down. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, All Things Jesus. I'm your girl, Adreeonah, and today I'm going to jump right into our topic. I want to ask you a question. What have you been praying for? I want you to get that thing or those things into your mind. Do you have them? I got my things. I got my things in my mind. The second question I'm going to ask is, how are you expecting God to do said things? What are your expectations regarding how the blessing, the miracle, whatever it is that you've been going to the throne for? How are you expecting it to turn out? I think the Lord is leading me to share this because somebody needs to be jolted to the reality that it may not look like what you think it's supposed to look like. And are you going to let that stand in the way of receiving your miracle? I'm not going to be before you long in my pastor voice, but I had a dream recently, and I'm not getting on here telling y'all about the dream. I don't believe myself to be a prophetess or a dreamer. I believe that I can have dreams from the Lord, but I don't believe I'm at liberty to say my dream means this for you. But I want to set the stage for you to understand where I'm going. I had a dream recently, and I believe that dream was synonymous with the end of an era, with changing, and not just necessarily changing in the natural, but changing even in our thinking, our mental processes, our spiritual beliefs, our eyes being open to things that maybe we thought never were like a possibility. And I had that dream, and I was confused, to be honest. And then I felt like the Holy Spirit wanted me to go just do more of a study on the book of Matthew. I had been in the book of John, and I'm like, okay, God, what do you want me to read next? He has me in Matthew. All of that being said, I'm going to tell you why I am making this video for you. I was reading Matthew 2, and Matthew 2 is all about Jesus being born and King Herod being a jealous tyrant and trying to figure out, okay, well, when is this going to happen? These wise men telling me they want to go bow down to this king. I'm the only king, just all of the things that were going through his mind and being threatened by the mere existence of Jesus. And what struck me was when he was asking the priest to tell him a little bit more about the insight of where this king was supposed to be born. So let's look at Matthew 2, 4-6. It says, he called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, where is the Messiah supposed to be born? This is who, the wise men are saying they're about to go bow down to. So give me some insight. They replied, in Bethlehem in Judea. They said, for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah. For a ruler will come from you who will be the shepherd for my people Israel. Why is this so important? Herod is asking the leading priest at this time where the Messiah is going to be born. They're giving him the information. However, when I look down at my commentary, it says, when the Messiah for whom they had been waiting finally came, they didn't recognize him. They literally foretold. They said to Herod, yeah, you're right. This is what's going to happen. This is where the Messiah is meant to be born. And Jesus was born in that very place. However, because once he grew up and he was on the scene and saying who he was, and people were having an understanding and awakening of who he was, they couldn't receive it. Why? Because it didn't look like what they thought it was going to look like. They didn't think that he was doing things that the Messiah should do or the king should do. He was bending rules and not doing things according to the way that it's always been done, the way of tradition. And all I'm saying is, don't miss out on your blessing. Don't miss out on what the Lord is doing for you because you want to be like a leading priest and teacher of that time. You want to be like a Pharisee. You're not supposed to be healing on a Sabbath. My father didn't do these things, Father Abraham and this and that, and what you have seen people do your entire life, now having you bound to actually accepting what God is trying to do. It is an end of an era. Some ways in which you've been thinking, some mindsets, some belief systems are going to be challenged and going to be torn down. And I just want to give you that warning now, before it even happens. Please do not miss out on God moving in your life because you are so bound to a former way of being. In the dream that I had, it was things being torn down. And I just know that from even listening to other voices that I trust and the Lord bringing me to this passage, that was a warning for the fact that some things are going to have to be let go, tossed aside, if I am really going to receive the fullness of this new revelation, this new era, this new season. It's very easy to look at the Pharisees and think I could never be like that, but you could be. And I'm making this video so that you don't become like them. So if you're contending for marriage, drop your expectations of what you think that's supposed to look like, whether it's the courtship, how you meet that person, or what that person themselves look like. If it's the healing, drop your expectations of how you think the Lord is supposed to do that thing. If it's the job, the home, the reconciliation, how you think it's supposed to go. That person's supposed to come back to me and say X, Y, and Z. I don't know what it is. Only you and the Lord know what it is. But right now, do you vow to say, God, however you want to do it, however you want to usher in the miracle. They knew where the Messiah was supposed to be born. They had the prophecy. You have the prophecy. Whatever it is in your heart that the Lord told you, he gave you a promise on. Please don't miss out on it, because when it comes, I didn't think it's supposed to look like that. That can't be from the Lord. And he's saying, yes, it is. It is from me. Do you perceive it? I'm doing a new thing. And so that's all I'm saying to you. I'm going to leave it right there and allow the Holy Spirit to usher in this revelation for you. And what does it mean for the things in which you're contending for, and how you will need to receive them in the changes that you will have to undergo, figuratively and maybe even literally. So I hope that this blesses you. And as always, until next time, whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Bye, y'all.